Tigers go 2-0 this past weekend at CQ Arena. We'll talk about it today on the Tiger Basketball Report presented by the Green Turtle. Hello again, fans, and welcome back to the Tiger Basketball Report. I'm your host, Ben Rosenbaum. A little change for us today. Coach Rich never stops working on the road recruiting, so I am joined by assistant coach Zach Kancher. Zach, thanks for taking some time for us today.
I appreciate it. Thanks for being here. I hope I don't reduce the number of viewers that you have. I've been told I've got a face made for radio. So hopefully everybody will still pay attention and watch and follow along. So appreciate your help here.
I will say this: we had the statistics. The only time we've lost viewers is when Brandon fills in for me. We do have the numbers.
Okay, all right. Well, I don't want to be the cooler here, right. So that we'll make sure that we keep things the way they are.
Exactly. So 2-0 weekend, and coming into this weekend, had dropped 3 of your last 4. It was a weekend you guys needed bad, and not just to win one. You needed both these games. And you guys took care of business big time. 2 big wins over UNCW and then the College of Charleston.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about all the time that, we are really tough to beat at home. We're 8-1 at home right now. The league itself is a very home team dominant league. I think it's like 60% of the teams are winning at home right now. And one of the things that we talked about all week as a team is doing what you do best. And we really try to inspire our players to play their game. We tell them all the time that we're their biggest fans. We love watching them play. And when we get everybody rolling like we did this weekend on the same page, Janine Camp being named CAA Rookie of the Week. She had a monster weekend, career high yesterday against College of Charleston with 17 points. And everybody was playing. Aislinn Flynn, freshman, had 10 points and 9 boards in 20 minutes. And obviously, Kiana Jeter was back to form. And Nakia Mayo, just being a mismatch threat. And everybody just kind of playing their best basketball at the same time allows everybody to contribute. And that's why I think we've been able to have such a successful weekend.
Yeah, you look at that UNCW game. They were the team handed you your first conference loss on the road. And that was kind of, Coach Rich and I have talked about in the past, that game started kind of the little cooling off period that you had scoring-wise, and then you mentioned Kiana Jeter, 22 points for her. She found her shooting touch, which she had been missing the last couple games.
Yeah, and for a lot of kids, like this is their first time going through a conference where the scouting is so high level. And so the first time through a league, you might be able to do what it is you want to do, and then the second time around, after everybody's seen you on film, you may have to come, up with something else out of your bag. And it's the same thing for a lot of other great players in this league. And that's the thing about this league, though. This is a players' league. There are kids on every single team that can get a bucket at any time. And so constantly you're coming up with game plans to figure out how do you stop the other team's best player. And sometimes that game plan doesn't work because that player gets off anyway. And I think that for a player like Kiana, she's realized that, she's so talented that it doesn't really matter what another team does. She can score at will when she wants to. And that was a learning experience for her and a learning experience for, I think, the entire team.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you fast forward to College of Charleston, another big win. You hold both teams to just 61 points, UNCW and Charleston. Janine Camp, you mentioned it, 18 points, a new career high. And it wasn't just rebound layup. She was making post moves, spinning away from the basket. She split a double team, drove baseline. She's really starting to come together. We all saw the potential when she got on campus, and now she's really putting it all together.
Well, we really pride ourselves as a coaching staff on our player development. If you look at where a player like Nakia Mayo came from, as a freshman to where she is now, where she's a double-double machine, you see where some of our guards have improved. Jalen Holmes becoming a much more consistent player for us at the guard position. And I think Janine is another example of that, where we've been working on eliminating some bad habits. Certainly she got in foul trouble early in the season, and it feels like we've been able to eliminate most of that. And we've also been able to improve her ability to consistently finish around the rim, and in turn also improve her ability to make free throws. But that's also a credit to her as well. She's wanted to improve. She's wanted to be in the gym and learn and get better. She is extremely receptive to coaching. And we tell her all the time that she is a force of nature in the paint, and both on both ends of the floor. And so it's exciting to see her play to her potential and play a great weekend of basketball.
Yeah, you mentioned the free throws quickly. As a team against Charleston, 17 for 22 the Tigers were from the foul line. And then, so you beat both teams 82-61 UNCW, 87-61 Charleston. But it wasn't just on the scoreboard. On the boards, a combined 105-68 rebound margin over the last 2 games. Absolutely dominant both offense and defensive rebounding for the Tigers this week.
Yeah, up in Northeastern, we were disappointed with our rebounding effort. We feel like we've got the size and athleticism to out-rebound anybody in the league. We lead the CAA in conference play and free throw attempts. So we really decided this week that we were going to take ownership of the paint, and that was on both ends of the floor. From a defensive standpoint, we weren't going to allow teams to outscore us in the paint, points in the paint. And also, we were going to own the offensive rebounds, both second chance points and just total number of offensive rebounds. And we say it all the time, we want to play fast. Our transition offense is our best offense because when we get rolling that way, we're pretty tough to guard. But our transition offense starts with our defense, and it starts with clearing the defensive glass. And I think we've paid more attention to that this week in practice. We had a great week of practice leading into these 2 games. We set those as our game goals for this week, really controlling the paint, controlling the glass like you had mentioned. And I think then what goes along with that then is getting to the free throw line. And if you stop people and you rebound the ball and you get to the free throw line, that's a recipe for success.
All right. That'll do it for us today on this edition of the Tiger Basketball Report. Join us next time where Coach Kancher and I preview the Tigers games against Elon and William & Mary. For assistant coach Zach Kancher, I'm Ben Rosenbaum. Thanks for joining us. And as always, go Tigers.